All right. Well, my name is David. We'll have Pancho and our team from Cozumel will be joining in a minute at the tasting room to do the tasting in a little bit. Um, I guess the way this all got started is the oil industry slowed down, and I had some time on my hands and had to figure out what to do. So I love the Caribbean so much. I called my little brother and said, "Hey, let's sail down to the Caribbean." So we jumped on our sailboat, left out of Texas, took a couple weeks and sailed down to the Caribbean and stopped in Cozumel because we visited there quite a bit and we have friends there. And we hung out there for a couple of weeks. And the last norte, they call it, of the season came in while we were anchored offshore downtown. And while we were sleeping, the anchor rope gave way, chafed through, even though I was waking up every 30 or 40 minutes checking it. And we ended up on the shore right there downtown. And so we were waiting for repairs and we were hanging out. We needed to figure out we needed to do something. So we just decided, hey, there's a whole lot of tequila in Cozumel and we're bourbon and rum lovers. Why don't we bring Caribbean to Cozumel, since they're bringing the Western Mexican tequila and mezcal heavily there, but Caribbean wasn't really represented on the island. So that's how we came up with the idea, and we started basically put a backpack on and went all over that area, all over the Mayan area of Mexico, looking for rum producers. And one of my buddies down there should be on, his name's Pancho. He's a Mayan, and visiting with his family and his grandmother a lot, she was telling us about the Mayan traditions and the flavors they used in their cuisine for thousands of years. And so we started playing around with some of those flavors to create a spiced rum, which is the spiced rum that we'll be tasting later, or maybe some of you already tasted. And we also did a white rum and an aged rum, and later got a hold of a special blend of a 12-year rum that we now have. We never really expected to export Cozumel rum outside of Cozumel for at least for a long, long time. But after we were open for only, of course, all this started late 2017, and it took until November 2019 to launch our tasting room tourist attraction on the island. And we put a rum shack out back with some snacks, and people could hang out and listen to music and drink rum. We only served our rum at the beginning. We added on some additional drinks now and some beer, just to, fighting COVID. You got to give people what they want, and not everybody drinks rum every day. So we built that out thinking, sir?
You don't?
Well, I did for a while, but I don't recommend it. My wife got pretty upset with me because I was drinking too much rum, but I was surrounded by cases of it. So what do you do? So I guess I was like the quality control person for a while. So then, we began to have some really good success. Like the first 3 months, I mean, it just took off. Everyone loved it. It was a great venue. It was really good rum. Everybody was loving it. And then COVID hit, and of course that wasn't very fun. And we're still struggling to survive that because there's still no cruise ships. It's been over a year, and there's still no cruise ships have been back. And that's the bread and butter of that island right there. Really, there's a lot more people flying in now, but the cruise ship industry was really the economic force for that island. And there's a lot of people suffering down there. A lot of businesses have gone out of business. And so just before COVID hit, we got a call from the US, from an importer, asking us about the rum. They got a hold of a couple bottles. They loved it. They were talking about bringing it into the US. Well, that happened so fast. We were like, we're not really prepared for that, but okay, let's just do it. That really was kind of a good deal for us, because during COVID, we had to close completely. The government shut us down for several months. So the only income we really had was one export. Of our first export was right in the middle of COVID, which gave us a little boost. But it was real tough, but it was just really exciting because we knew we had something pretty cool there, just there. We expected to be there for several years and then maybe one day export, the rum. But it happened really fast. And so now we're just navigating those waters. And with the hopefully the cruise industry coming back in July, they're talking about, that may help us continue on the island. We've been making a lot of arrangements for future growth on other cruise docks and piers. So hopefully that'll help continue to build the brand. And we have some really good ideas for some future products, which are really focused on the tourist industry. But the hand-blown glass was an idea we had because I spent some time in New York, Corning, New York, 5 years. And I knew a lot of people that blew glass, and I really loved going down to the glass museums there and watching the whole process. I've never done it myself, but I think I would enjoy it, but it is tedious. So watching all of the glass blowers, gaffers, they call them in New York, and learning about all of it, hanging out with them after work. And then when I was down there, I discovered that one of the priests that came over back when the Spaniards came, he set up shop and he knew how to blow glass. So he taught a lot of the indigenous people how to blow glass. And so I went to that area. During my travels, I was backpacking all over the place trying to find source all of the raw materials we would need to do this, and visiting all of the rum producers that I could find in Mexico. And this area that does the hand-blown glass is a really cool area. And they, I think we really should be supporting them because they're dying out. The glass blowers, their artisanal glass is kind of dying out because all the machines are making the glass now. But it's pretty cool watching them form that malted recycled glass into a really nice art glass bottle. And so that's what we decided. We're going to put this in art glass bottles. And of course, later we're probably going to have to use some recycled mass-produced bottles if we want to be able to serve parts of the industry like the on-premise bars and restaurants. They don't want to pour out of a hand-blown bottle and chunk it in the trash. So we're thinking about some things like that, but trying to keep it recycled, earth-friendly, small batch for sure, and continue to blow as many of the hand-blown bottles as we can. I mean, we have plenty of capacity right now for sure. One day, hopefully, we won't, but that's to be seen.
So fun facts for everyone, in case you didn't know. I didn't know until recently. So Cozumel is an island. So that's interesting because I was thinking, it's going to be in the middle of Mexico or something like that until I actually Googled it and then it popped up. And then someone's already asking, I was going there next, so you beat me to it, Richard. So let's see these bottles because I don't think everyone knew what the bottle looked like, because obviously we have the minis, right? They're like tiny, they're like really small. So
Okay, well,
yeah, like I see them, you have them in behind the scenes right there. And
When
George is joining now, by the way.
when my guys log in from the island, because I'm in Texas right now, they'll have all of the bottles to show you. I've got some back here. This one was the first bottle ever blown, and you can see it. It's just a straight neck, but it's the right height and everything. And well, I didn't like it because it, your hand. So we had them turn down the bottleneck, but then you don't have enough grit to really hold the neck of the bottle. So we went back and we lengthened the bottle with the roll down. And these are all the prototypes. They're clear glass, recycled glass, but clear glass. And then we ended up, before we lengthened the neck, we had this. This was one of the first prototypes for the aged rum. And you can see it's all not very perfect, but it was the first, just working on the pattern, the first.
Can you lift it up a little bit? And then how does it, so I know a bit about rum, but nothing about glass blowing. So why is there different shades there? Is it mixing different types of glass material, or?
Every one of the bottles, it's this underneath. So the coloring is the skin over this glass bottle. So once they get a blob of glass, the right weight, so they weigh the malted glass and they get it on the end of their rod. Once they get the malted glass going, they kind of start blowing a hole in a bubble, like trying to blow it up like a balloon, but barely. And then they start rolling it in the colored crushed glass to create the design on it. So all of them are this recycled Coca-Cola bottle glass underneath that they start with. And then they have this one here. You can see they roll it in the brown glass, and then they streak it with the other color, and then they start twirling it as they're building it. And then I don't know how to do it, but I've seen them do it. It's pretty cool. So that's the aged one. The spiced one, we were trying to do something that really worked for spice. This is the actual one of the very first spiced bottles, and you can see how big the pattern is. Now it's a tighter, better, higher quality looking pattern, but it's got the same colors. And it has, notice these that I'm showing you have the shorter neck. This was before we. That's the spice bottle that you have the little miniature of, all of you. This is the spice bottle that it would be coming in at our shop and through the places available now, except the neck is obviously taller. This was our first white rum bottle, but we took the blue out so that the blue on the label would complement the white bottle better. And we ended up with this height, this neck of the bottle, and those 3 different colors. And now we have a 4th color, which is the 12-year. And Fernando and Russell will be on here real shortly, and they'll be able to help you see all of the real bottles with the right height and everything. But those are how the bottles look. They're similar to the old Dutch onion style bottle, but I had a CAD artist draw it up, and we kind of designed it so it best fit our needs. And then we had to play around with the punks at the bottom and to make sure it held the right amount. And there's so many awesome designs you can do with it. I almost just had the artist make whatever bottles they wanted, and the only way you would tell what was in it was the label, because they're all so beautiful. But we kind of went this direction. But we have an idea to do something special where we have give the artist the liberty to just create what they want as some sort of special edition later with a expression that's coming out later on.
And then how many expressions do you actually have right now?
We have 4 right now, which I guess is really fast, too much for really fast. You know, I mean, we have the white, the aged, and the spiced was our first 3. And then we added that 12-year because we were able to get a custom blended 12-year, and we bought it, and it's only limited. When we run out, we run out. And it's my favorite for sure.